What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight I have for you this is the other half of the chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 11. So I'll give you all a few seconds to get there. And I took some thought for it, and I'll even refer to the website that I had again for the first half of it. And so getting into it, with KJV, it divides the chapters or even sections of a chapter with names. So this one is called the Lord's Supper. And this is basically where the Corinthians are coming together in the church, having, basically a communion, having the Lord's Supper, right? And what they are doing is that some of them, they are bringing their own food, right? But some of them aren't eating well, and then others are eating drunkenly and merrily. And Paul is telling them, literally, what shall I say to you? What shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. Because they are not actually taking it serious. It's like a fraternity that they're basically doing. They're having a frat party here. They're having a frat party at the church. They're not respecting the Lord's Supper as they should. Because it even says, Paul even says this, take, eat. This is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And then with the wine, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. They are not doing it properly. They are not celebrating in remembrance. They are acting in sin. They are acting amongst themselves instead of in remembrance of Christ, being united as a church to look up to Christ during the supper. Which is also why, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. They're basically getting chat in a way because of their own sin, because of what they're doing to themselves. It even says that when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. And so the Lord is literally saying to them, wanting them to get away from that and to celebrate properly, and he's chastising, he's disciplining them. All right? That's what the Lord does right here because of his grace, right? And so end this off, this is one of the two problems that Paul addresses about the church in 1 Corinthians. The Lord's Supper acting as a frat party instead of a proper communion amongst the church, uniting, to look up to Christ, and then celebration, and then remembrance of what he did, of what the start was, to see the process from where he was at the supper to the cross, and then into the resurrection. And so they didn't take it seriously, and Paul tells them what would happen and why it's happening to them. And so, ending this off now, if y'all are into, are very traditional when it comes to, things in the Bible, right? Like communion, the Lord's Supper, I think Mass might be as well. Regardless, the traditions that the early church followed, if you still follow those properly, okay? Fast properly, pray righteously. Do not pray, thinking more of, amongst yourselves, don't be thinking in this way. In other words, that's what I'm trying to get at. Don't be thinking like they are, but think in remembrance, think in unity. There we go. So I'm going to end this off here. And I pray y'all have a good rest of your day. I love y'all. God bless you. And Jesus loves you more. Amen and amen.